Welcome back to Sumita Roy's English Classroom. This is Professor Sumita Roy. Today's video is on the inspiring life of Abraham Lincoln, a great world leader who's remembered 200 years after he lived. He had many great qualities which you and I can learn from. We shall do a series of videos on great leaders and how their lives inspire us. For learners of English, this is a wonderful way of learning the language because if you learn in simple short sentences, if you learn single words, or if you just learn the rules and the meanings of words, you never know how to use the language. Here you are seeing the language being used. The story which I have retold has some difficult words, which at the end of the story we shall talk about. You must listen to the story as you are reading it on your screen so that you get the meaning of the passage first. Understand the inspiring life and the incidents of Abraham Lincoln's life on earth. But more important is that will you be able to speak about Abraham Lincoln? After watching this video, you must be able to speak about him for at least 5 or 10 minutes. That will benefit you immensely in your speaking of the language. You have a topic in front of you, you want to speak. Many of you are commenting that when you have to speak at great length, you are not able to do it. Your mind becomes blank, you don't know what to say. This video should certainly help you in such a way that you can learn what a life he led, understand the meanings of the words, learn the spellings, punctuation, learn grammar, how sentences are constructed, and use all these rules, which are rules from this incident, this story, this life story. It is not a single sentence teaching you a rule of language. It is an entire story which you can use. And of course, the learning is also there in what all qualities we can learn from Abraham Lincoln. How Lincoln's qualities are very useful. He had such a good character that you and I can learn from it and become better. So let us now go on to the life of Abraham Lincoln. And once you have heard it, we will speak some more. The life of Abraham Lincoln. Honest Abe is the name by which Abraham Lincoln is known because of his honesty in all matters. His other inspiring qualities which make him a powerful influence even today are humility, grace, courage, and commitment to justice. As the 16th President of the United States of America, the contribution of Abraham Lincoln is unforgettable. It is very unfortunate that he was assassinated when he had just won a second term and been in office for only about a month. Abraham Lincoln's story illustrates the saying, failures are the stepping stones to success. Born on February 12, 1809, in the family of a farmer, Abe had to work very hard from a young age. He learnt farm work from his father. He also learnt how to make shoes. Later, when he became the President of the United States of America, many powerful people were shocked how a shoemaker's son had reached such a high position. Abe's mother and later his stepmother encouraged him to become educated, but he did not have much formal education. He was self-educated. He loved reading and often borrowed books from others to read and develop his mind. Abe lost his mother at the age of 9. Later in life, he would again face the sorrow of death as 3 of his sons died before him. But no sorrow could take away his ability to win against all odds. Lincoln did not want to be a farmer when he grew up. So he did many different jobs, from being a flatboatman to a shopkeeper, postmaster, and finally passed the law examination. In 1836, he began to practice law. Though he did not earn much initially, he later became the attorney for the Illinois Central Railroad. One of his famous victories was when he saved his friend from charges of murder by saying that the witness could not have seen anything as the almanac showed it was a dark night with no moonlight. After almost 20 years as a successful lawyer, Lincoln moved to politics. He became a member of the Illinois state legislature in 1834. In his single term in Congress, he proposed a bill to free slaves gradually, but it did not get approved. When he began his presidential race, he gave some of the most famous speeches, which were very powerful and impressive. Though he lost the first election, Lincoln became the president in 1861. In the same year, the American Civil War began and continued till 1865. He tried his best to keep the country united. The North-South divide was leading to the breaking away of some states, which he did not want. During the war, his practical sense, flexible decision-making abilities were much appreciated. Lincoln had a great sense of humor. He enjoyed telling stories, but many people mistook him for being frivolous. He had a great stock of stories, which he often used to illustrate his ideas. He used to tell people that laughter is like a medicine for him. His tenure as president was very stressful. So, laughter was one way to cope with all the problems. Many are the inspiring stories about how Abraham Lincoln faced the challenges of life and came out victorious. On the first day of his presidency, a rich man wanted to insult him by saying, "Your father made shoes for my father." Lincoln did not get angry, but replied that his father's shoes were the best, and if this man had any complaints, Lincoln himself would make shoes for him, as he himself knew how to make shoes. Everyone was silent after this. Lincoln's term as president was marked by violence and unrest, as the United States did not want to remain united. The conflict was because of the South wanting to continue the practice of slavery. Lincoln wanted to end the cruel practice of some human beings serving other human beings as slaves. He wanted justice and equality for all. Lincoln's greatest achievement was the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed all black enslaved people and finally resulted in the abolition of slavery. He led the North to victory in the Civil War. He guided the country to stay united in spite of the Civil War and did not allow the Union to be destroyed. Other noteworthy contributions of Abraham Lincoln are establishing a national banking system to give financial stability to the country during war. starting of colleges in each state, and setting up the Department of Agriculture. His greatest strength was his integrity. His moral courage was always evident in all his actions. His nature was forgiving. He felt empathy and compassion for all. Peace and justice were the principles he believed in. His journey of self-improvement is a lesson for one and all. He always supported what was right, even if everyone else opposed him. One of the famous speeches of Lincoln is the Gettysburg Address, where he spoke the well-known words, "The government of the people, by the people, and for the people." Another very famous piece by him is the letter he wrote to his son's teacher. In it, he lists good things which he would like his son to learn. It was a great tragedy that immediately after the end of the Civil War, as he and his wife had gone to watch a play, he was shot by actor John Wilkes Booth. The president survived the night but died next morning, April 15, 1865. The great American poet Walt Whitman wrote a poem on this sad occasion, when lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed. It is an elegy. The life of Abraham Lincoln is an inspiring and motivating story. For all those who are struggling in life, be it your career or your convictions, here is a person who can give you strength and courage to go forward. From him, you can learn discipline, dedication, persistence, and self-effort. To continue on your chosen path, in spite of facing many hardships, is a valuable lesson that Abraham Lincoln's life teaches us. I am sure you would like to listen to the passage many times, because if you listen for the first time, you might be able to understand approximately. But when you listen a number of times, the clarity becomes more. You also observe what all are there which you are finding difficult. This video should enhance your ability to use the English. You have many words and expressions which you should learn and use them in many sentences so that you become familiar with them. A long list of words is possible. For instance, we have inspiring, motivating, then you have dedication, perseverance, you have self-effort, then you have, grace, humility, commitment, courage. All these are words which can describe the life of Abraham Lincoln. Now, what do you do with them? First is you look up in the dictionary each word. Look at the spelling carefully. Look at the meaning. Some words have more than one meaning. Find out in which meaning it is used in the passage. These are all homework which I'm giving you. Now, if I constantly do spoon feeding, your English will not improve. My English will become better and better, and your English will remain where it is. So when you come across a difficult word, note it down. Finish listening to the entire passage. Read the entire passage, but listen to it again and again. Then what you should do is, you should take, that page where you have written down the difficult words. Write down the meaning. Write down the function of the word, which the dictionary will tell you. Then try to use it. First, see how it is used in the paragraph. Then try to use it in many other situations. For instance, you have a word like discipline. We can learn discipline from Abraham Lincoln. So how can you use this? You say that unless we have discipline in life, we cannot achieve anything. If we get up in the morning and do some exercises, do our prayers and puja, that shows our discipline. If you write well, that means you have mental discipline. Discipline is very important for young children to learn. If you are on time everywhere, that means you are disciplined. In this way, you use a single word in many sentences. Now, this one video has many difficult words. You have a word like humility. Humility implies modesty. You don't show off. You are not egoistic. You don't say, I'm the best. Humility is a quality Lincoln had, although he was such a great person. If somebody insulted him, like the story we heard, he never felt insulted. That was his humility. He never thought he was great. But what he did for America was something very great. These things, if you learn and look at all the words, I will quickly read out to you the list of words which I thought you might find difficult. Inspiring, motivating, convictions, discipline, dedication, perseverance. Perseverance is to continue to make effort even when you do not succeed. Self-effort, hardship. Hardship is difficulty. Valuable, win against all odds. That means however difficult the situation, you must attempt to win. Then you have almanac, humility, grace, commitment, courage, contribution, unforgettable, unfortunate, assassinated, challenges, victorious, impressive. Then you have elegy. Elegy is a sad song. Now here we have a sad poem which was written by Walt Whitman. Tragedy. Tragedy is an incident which has sorrow, which has a terrible thing. Assassination, killing of a great leader, killing of a king, that is assassination. I gave you already. Contribution, stability, integrity, empathy, compassion, abolition, powerful, against all odds. That means any difficulty, fighting against challenges. Then you have flexible, appreciated, humor, frivolous. Frivolous is a person who is not serious. Nobody takes the person seriously. Tenure. Tenure is a period of some post. Illustrate, victorious, complaints. All these words are there. Now, in your comments, many of you are just writing good morning. Now, you write good morning and make a few sentences with these words. Then I will know that you have looked at the meanings, you have understood the meaning, and you have also made some sentences on your own. If you keep using these words, your English becomes better. If you keep speaking about some incidents in the life of great persons like Abraham Lincoln, your English becomes better. You become more fluent. You become more confident. You are able to think in English because as soon as the idea goes into your head, they are there in English in your mind because you have heard the passage in English. Now you can use that thought which is coming to you in English and speak it out. In this way, you will develop immensely. So let us know whether we should do many of these lives of great people for you to learn good English and also to know about them. All the best and thank you.